We're back. It's been so long. Many people are blaming us for Spurs' poor run of form. We've waited. We win and we're back in again. We're going back to record. We will not record when form is out the window. But we're finally here, finally back in. I've got a microphone for Christmas. Me and Peter, much like the sort of Son and Kane, we've been sent, are you not entertained? Ollie's a bit more like Bergwijn, so he's not been given any gifts so far. But we'll get one.
Post, I've been told.
Goes in the post.
But boys, before we go into it, let's talk about how you are. I mean, obviously the world is very strange. Christmas is gone. We haven't recorded since the Arsenal game, Ollie reliably tells me. So it's been a long time. So Peter, how have you been getting on? Tell me how you're feeling, because obviously it's a strange world at the moment. I myself have found it a bit more difficult, the Christmas period and so on. And so go on, not just I actually do want to hear how you're feeling. Ollie, I don't want to hear about work, but I do want to hear how you're feeling, Peter. Take me through it.
Yeah, Christmas was weird, wasn't it? It was horrible. It felt very Tottenham in that they gave you the hope of a nice Christmas. Spurs always dangled a carrot and then they took it away from you. And I think that's what killed it, was the hope that killed it. And they announcing it so early on that we were going to have time with our families and be able to see each other and stuff. And then to take it away so close to Christmas was a real killer. We made the best of it, I guess. Did a lot of Zooming, talking to people. Me and you met up for a dog walk. Jez did present swaps and stuff. But yeah, it was weird. I went for... When did we meet up? Christmas Eve. And it didn't feel like Christmas Eve because I knew the next day wasn't going to feel like Christmas. It just sort of... It sucked out all the niceness of it. And yeah, it's been horrible. In terms of other stuff, I'm actually not going back to school to work next week because we're shut. So I've got a meeting on Monday to decide what we're going to do with that. So yeah, it's all going a bit up in the air at the minute, but I'm all right, plodding along, trying to keep in contact with people, trying to new year, new me stuff, trying to like set goals and targets and try and keep myself positive that way, I think, because otherwise I'm going to lose my mind. If they take away Premier League football, I won't know what to do.
No, absolutely. And so everyone knows, Peter's still retaking year 4. He's been doing year 4 for so long now, but we're really proud of it because last year he managed to get through year 3, so we're so pleased with him.
Yeah, 3 years in year 3, got bumped up to year 4. Fingers crossed, year 5 next year.
Come on! Onwards and upwards.
Yeah.
And Ollie, how have you been getting on? Obviously, you're also a bit different. You're self-employed, so your sort of working life is a bit different to Pete's. How have you been getting along, and how are you feeling? How are you coping with it all?
Yeah, it's been like Peter said there. It's been really weird. I mean, up where I live, we were in tier 2 for Christmas, so I mean we could actually go and see our families and stuff. So I spent the Christmas with my mum, which was nice. We had to share one household sort of swap, I suppose, or whatever you call it. It was like a sort of like a temporary transfer, if you will. So I spent the Christmas day there, which was actually really nice. Not really seeing my mum much this year and that, so it was nice to spend time with her and sort of enjoy her famous roast that she does, and it's absolutely banging. So I was really pleased to be able to share that with her and have a good day. It's obviously very sad because I didn't get to see my younger brother and his 2 kids and his girlfriend, and that was the plan for Christmas for us. So they drove up to Northampton like the night they said they're going to go into tier 4, whatever it was, and they did a quick present swap then. And then in around Christmas, we just tried to meet people up outside and dog walks, present swaps, all that sort of stuff. So it's a very, very strange Christmas. But yeah, work-wise, it is what it is, really. Just keep sort of plodding along. And like I say, being self-employed is difficult because when you're not working, you're not earning any money. There's no real... Well, there is a furlough scheme, but I was quite unfortunate with mine. It didn't go very well in terms of when I started being self-employed and sort of stuff like that. So it didn't end up being much help to me, but it was something, I suppose. But yeah, it's just plodding along. My girlfriend Sarah's got a new job, which is nice. She starts in a couple of weeks. So that's good news. She's doing a marketing degree. She's got a marketing job, which is nice. So yeah, she's very pleased with herself. She's actually working at the minute at her current job. It was quite typical, really. I've had 10 days off for Christmas, and she's worked for 6 of the 10 days, which is mental, absolutely mental. Considering she wasn't working at all the whole time I was at work. So anyway, that's how it goes, isn't it? But onwards and upwards into 2020.
Onwards and upwards, indeed. We have come through.
What about you, Jez? You saying you found it a bit tough?
Yeah, I did. I think it's because it gave us sort of elicited a emotional response instead of the other ones where I was kind of going, okay, if I need to wear a mask, if that even didn't even work, but it made someone feel more comfortable, I would do that. If I need to be at home more time and I'm working on my own, okay, that's fine. I can deal with that. I can make that possible if I'm helping out. All these things that they've asked us to do, yeah, always following the rules, always keeping as well behaved as I can. And then, like you said, Pete, when they said you can have Christmas with your family, and then they said, actually, you changed their mind. And that's not happening. And you're not allowed anymore. I just think, I don't know, I just felt the rule book went out of the window in a way. I just thought that's what you've done is wrong. The reason we can't see our families for Christmas is because of all the mistakes you've made. It's because of the rules you put in place, because you allowed us to go shopping the day before in the centre of London around thousands of people. But the next day I couldn't go around and see my next door neighbour if I wanted to. Like, I just think it's madness, and so many mistakes have been made. So then when they tell us that, it did get from me a bit of a more emotional response, whereas the whole time I've just been kind of, okay, fair enough, they've got a hard situation to do, we've got to help out. So yeah, I was just more irritated. No, I think I go for emotions quite quickly, so I was like angry, went through like the 5 stages of grief or whatever really quick. I can't remember how they go, but normally for me it's along the lines of like okay, that's fine. Or how can we deal with that? How can we solve that problem? If there's no way to solve it, get angry, then maybe get a bit upset. And then be like, okay, well, that's happened. We just have to move on. So I think that's...
Acceptance. I'm finishing with acceptance.
Yeah, I'm going to take that one. That's where I'm going to go. But yeah, I need to study the 5 stages of grief because I do them in 2 minutes. 2 minutes flat. And then I'm out. But yeah, as Ollie said, now we're into 2021. And just...
Oh, Jez, sorry, breaking news. It's just flashed up on my phone that PSG have confirmed Poch as their new manager.
Yeah, I'm happy about that.
I'm chuffed about that. Buzz through.
Come get our players. Come raid them. A lot of the rumour mills, aren't they, with Poch, just going off of, you mentioned him, Pete. They reckon Delhi. I see that one happening completely. The other one is Lloris. It's getting a lot. I think that's almost like a media thing of, he's French. He's a French captain. Pochettino is his old manager. He's taken over Paris. Why wouldn't he want to come back? And you believe it, because as soon as I saw it, I thought, oh, yeah, that makes sense. I don't know how true that was.
There was 2 others. Who were the other 2 that got linked? Aurier was one.
Was he? To go back?
Yeah. And Winksy was the other one I saw.
Winks, Aurier, and Delhi.
Yeah, I think Delhi's the one that I think is most likely. The rest, I don't think Mourinho would want to let go of, so I just don't see him, especially in January. Obviously not. But Delhi's a potential goer.
Yeah, definitely.
But shall we, chaps, have a little talk about Spurs' Christmas form? I mean, I know we tried to ignore it, we tried to run from it, but
try to avoid it.
I feel like we need to give a little bit of the games that we've missed. So we've done the Arsenal game as the last one, and since then, what was the?
I think we recorded before the Arsenal game, so we didn't actually get to talk about the Arsenal game.
We beat Arsenal.
Good times.
How good was that? Beat them 2-0 was easy. It's an absolute walk in the park. It was pathetic from them. They're pathetic. So that was lovely. Why didn't we go and talk about that? Why didn't we want to jump on the Arsenal bloody game? What's wrong with us? Although I will say studies dictate and they show that stats are that people don't tend to listen to podcasts during the Christmas period. So there
you go.
All right, fair enough.
Break.
Yeah, that's why. But go on then, we'll go through the game very quickly. So I'll just throw a game. All I want is just a few lines from the both of you to say what you thought, or from one of you each, sorry, as to what you thought of that game. So Wally, I'll give you the Arsenal one. You're welcome. What did you think of the game?
Well, Christ, it was quite a long time ago. When was that? Arsenal, 6th of December, so quite a long time ago. But it was a really good performance, that was. That was sort of the end of that little horrible run we had with the Man City, Chelsea, Arsenal games. And then Bio played really well. Again, it was one of those typical Mourinho performances where you control the game without having any of the ball at all. And like I said, you see all the pundits going mad about how we had none of the ball and they had possession, and even Arteta said he can't understand how they lost and all this sort of thing. And it's like, well, it was obvious.
7% chance.
Yeah, you had no good goal scoring opportunities. Like, it's simple. We took all of ours, and we only crafted a few, but we took them all, which I suppose is the importance of the Mourinho way, which we then saw to fall apart in the next few games. when you don't take those chances, and how the system can kind of fall apart a little bit.
Whoa! You've got the Arsenal game, all right?
Yeah, no, I'm just helping move the pod along. But overall, beat Arsenal. The only game we've had fans at this season as well, which is mental. That whole thing I think is really weird. How some stadiums will have fans, some won't. I think there's a massive disadvantage to the away team there, but yeah, that is weird.
None now, isn't it? Because
it's none now, so it seems kind of pointless doing it. All the money they probably spent, but they don't care about money, do they?
My favourite thing they did was when they had you can have 4,000 fans if you're in Tier 1, and the places in Tier 1 just don't have football teams. Like the Isle of Wight could have 4,000 fans in a football stadium.
Cool.
They don't have a football
people,
team.
Have they?
Yeah.
Pete, coming to you. I think the next game was Palace. Is that right? The 1-1 draw. Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
That one you could smell it coming a mile off, couldn't you? You could just sniff it. They were 1-0 up, and they never really. First half we looked all right. Second half you could just see it was getting deeper and deeper and deeper, and that's the danger of playing Mourinho's way. If you don't hold out, you don't win games because you're going to sit on a 1-0. And yeah, you could smell it coming a mile off, that equaliser, and it was a clumsy one as well. It just left a sour taste in the mouth because it's we're better than Palace. We are. That we have better footballers than Palace. Go for the kill, get the second goal. But yeah, disappointing, especially off the back of such a good run. But at the same time, at least we didn't get beat. So
you say that as well, but their goalkeeper an absolute blinder.
He did make 2 big saves at the end, but that's what he's paid to do. So
big saves.
And Ollie, you get again probably a bit more positive. I know we lost, but the Liverpool game, I believe we lose 2-1. But what were your big takes from the game? It was
a weird game, wasn't it, the Liverpool game? I mean, when you look at it, you watch it, and you kind of but then you look at the stats. It looks like we got played off the park, and you could argue we did. It depends how you view football, I suppose, isn't it? If you view it in the sort of the beautiful game, and you've got to pass and score and all that sort of stuff, then yeah, you could argue that. But the fact is, we had 5 or 6, or maybe 5 huge chances to score. We only really scored 1. I think we had it's 4 or 5 huge chances. You got the Kane header, Bergwijn had 2, and they're just chances you have to score. And unfortunately, it obviously came back to bite us in the arse, and we conceded from a set piece, as we seem to have a habit of doing in the last sort of 10-15 minutes of the game. Sort of, it kind of started before that and carried on and then into the new year, really. But we had a real sort of an issue at the minute of defending set pieces, and it cost us badly in that game, and the Palace game, the one before.
Absolutely. No, spot on. And then the next game, probably the worst of the lot, the Leicester game. Pete, what did you take from that?
The frustrating thing about the Leicester game for me was they didn't look dangerous at all either. We were poor, but they didn't really create anything. We give them a penalty, so stupid from Aurier, so stupid.
Yeah.
And seemingly is being punished for that and has not really played since, I don't think. And then obviously the own goal, which you could argue that they created, Maddison plays a good ball over the top. Vardy touched it back across, but it's just clumsy again. So we gifted them too. So really, if you don't do those stupid things, it's 0-0 because they didn't look very good either. And when we looked poor. So yeah, just forget that one, chalk it off and move on to the next one, which was also poor.
Which is also, with the Leicester game, I wondered what you guys thought. I mean, I wondered if there was a bit of anything to be said, let's say, for a psychological advantage in terms of just before that game, all the Spurs players, I mean, we've seen with that picture recently that some of them broke the rules anyway, but a lot of those Spurs players have just been told, or the whole of those Spurs team have just been told, you're not going to be able to see your family for Christmas. You're not going to be able to see anyone else or friends or family at all. Whereas Leicester players were going into that knowing that they were going to be able to have a normal Christmas and see their families. I wonder if there was any kind of psychological damage where our players were just a bit hit compared to theirs. I know it's an excuse, it's a big old excuse, but I just wonder, the human brain, I mean, you'd be going into that pretty down. I would be going into that game pretty down if I was playing the Spurs that day. So I just wondered whether that might have any relevance.
I don't know, man, because how often do they see their families? When do they get to see them on Christmas? Because they train on Christmas Day. I guess they see them Christmas night.
Yeah, they always train in the morning and then they get to see their family.
But then were we away on Boxing Day? We were, weren't we?
No. In that Leicester game, we were at home.
Yeah, that wasn't Boxing Day.
Yeah,
so the game after we were away, so they would have travelled
on Boxing
that night. they would travel Boxing Day morning. So
Yeah.
No,
they're not missing out on
we
much.
played
I
the
don't know.
same-
I don't think that's a. I know what you're trying to say.
They've also just found out they're in tier 4, so they've just found out they're not going to be able to do anything. They're not going to be able to socialise. They're not able to do
It's
normal
possible. It's possible. But the performance was just poor. It just looked like we almost got Mourinho'd because Leicester had a couple of chances and they took all of them, and we created literally nothing. I can't think of a good chance in that Leicester game. I just thought we were poor, but that happens. You're allowed to be poor every now and again. It was just unfortunate that it came at such poor time for us as a squad and as a team going through a rubbish patch.
I
After
think
the Liverpool game, and it just sort of come down a bit of a sort of like a punch to the stomach, you could say.
No, but I just think sometimes we forget football as a human. And we expect them, the managers come out and say none of them allowed to go to shops anymore. They're not allowed to do supermarkets. I know Wolves have come out and made a rule that their players aren't allowed to go out to do their own shopping. So I just think we forget sometimes they're human and they're being put in a box. And yeah, it's a beautiful box, a lovely, lovely home with all the riches in the world. But at some point, anyone gets like, fucking hell, I'm not able to do anything. So I just wonder, we spoke about our mental state. I know they're getting to play football. I'm so jealous of what they're able to do, and they still carry on pretty much as normal, but the rest of it is not. Sometimes I just wonder whether we forget that.
It was an interesting point, just moving on to the Wolves game as well, where obviously Kane didn't play very well, but we now know that his wife was due to have a baby. Again, that's going to cause havoc with your mental health if you're playing football. Yeah. Knowing your wife potentially could go into labour at any minute, that must have been horrible to do as well. So following from that point, again, with that the sort of mental side of things and, players being human, that's possibly why. And as we know, if Kane doesn't play well, we rarely play well as well. So
Sonny didn't play well, and Sonny just cares so much about Harry's baby.
Yeah.
He was thinking, Harry's going to miss the birth of his child. And it was
and he can't name him after me.
Exactly. Well, he always will, because he'll always say, son,
assist.
There's my son. So not a problem. He's always got that. With the Wolves game, I'll just brush over that one quickly. I mean, I will say I watched it quite drunk. I don't know if it... So I think I remember, you boys were like, you can see the goals coming. And I was quite drunk, and I was like, no, you can't.
Where?
And I was thinking, what are you talking about? I can't see a goal coming here. We're solid as anything, because all I was thinking is 1-0 up. We're going to see this out. But it was, again, same story. The frustrating thing, the Palace game, as you said, Ollie, set piece at the end of the game, not going for it. We score in the second minute, was it? Tanguy scored?
In the first minute.
First minute. And then, we just didn't seem to attack for the rest of the game, which is just lunacy. And I think I put a tweet out after that one of when Mourinho was saying that I tell the players to get really far forward. I don't know why they don't do it. Maybe he does. So let's have a little debate on this. Maybe Mourinho does tell the players, get higher up the pitch, go attack. But he tells them that in that moment. And for me, the problem is you've been taught and you've been trained, you've been drilled into how to be a low block, how to defend, how to not come out of position. So every time you think, can I press that guy? The first thing in your head is going to be not go get him. It's going to be, what if I'm out of position? What if I cause a problem? What if I do something that Mourinho has told me that is exactly the problem? So when he's saying to them, why aren't you just reacting to me telling you to be more attacking? I think it's almost you've forgotten how to do it. I can remember going from playing with you boys, Pete, playing for Faysad, playing our Sunday team, and you're expressive, and we played great attacking football as a quality. I played with St Albans, and I got played right back, and then I played a few games after that again for the Faysaders. I forgot how to attack. I was like, I don't know how to do this now. I was going to attacking positions, and I was uncomfortable because I was just wanting to pass it off and get back into my shape, because that's what I've been taught to do. So that's for me the big thing. I think Mourinho thinks we're all sitting here thinking, yeah, no, he's right. He is telling them to play expansive, creative, attacking football, and they're just not listening, which is not the point. It's everyone. It's the players and the manager for me. Debate over. What do you think?
Yeah, mate, I pretty much agree with you. It feels like Mourinho feels like a big brother, telling you to do something, and then you do it, and he goes to your mum and dad, I didn't tell him to do it. It wasn't me. He's just I agree with you massively. I think that's the thing. Is when it's drilled into you so much, there is no freedom. And he's killing players as well with his shape. I don't want to go into it, but Tanguy in a 10 is killing me, man. He was so good. When he got the ball deep against Wolves, he was sensational. You had 3 or 4 runs where he just killed them, just burst away from people, and looked phenomenal. Just play him deeper. Trust him. Just trust him to play deeper. But anyway, yeah, I'm with you on that.
We're made for the 4-3-3, aren't we? We're made for that. So like with your point, put Tanguy in there, then he's got the option of both, doesn't he?
Exactly.
I think he's kind of in a sort of 3/10, isn't he? He's sort of the free midfielder, isn't he, as such? Because he does drop back in when players go past him. When like Winksy went past him today, he was dropping back in, to be fair. So I think there is an element of that. However,
but that's when we attack, and then we don't have to. Like Winksy goes past him, so he then doesn't get the ball deep.
Yeah.
He needs to be deep when we're all the time, and then burst. But there we go.
Yeah.
Because I heard someone they said he's the most press-resistant player they've seen in the Prem for a long, long time. And I thought that's a great way to describe him. He is terrific for that. Leeds could have pressed him all day, and he will find a way. Same way Moussa Dembele. He is so press-resistant. Come and get him, and you can press high, and suddenly he beats you, and he's taken 4 players out of the game. And that is exactly what Tanguy does. I just thought that was a wonderful way to label him.
Yeah.
Well, I totally agree with you on that, Pete, as well.
I think it's interesting with Mourinho. He mentioned it again today. I don't know if you saw. You watched the press conference afterwards, didn't you?
No, I didn't.
He mentioned it again today. He said, "Oh, yeah, people in the media seem to think I just tell my players to defend, but as you saw, we don't do that." And I was like, it's clearly irked him a lot. You can tell that really pissed him off, like massively.
I don't understand why. It's what he's famous for.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, exactly.
Why has he suddenly got annoyed about it now at our club? Like, you did it. You've done it every other club you've been at.
You said that, but that Real Madrid team was a joke.
Yeah.
It's what it's built on. Even that, like, it's built on. The one thing I find a bit weird at the moment is that we're not doing the 4-3-3. I find that strange that we're not doing that. And then I also find it strange that he is kind of letting his fullbacks go. If you said to me, your back four's going to stay at home, more or less, fullbacks every now and then regularly might come forward, and the 2 on midfield are just going to sit. But I'm going to allow those front 3 to stay a little bit higher. That's what I felt like Mourinho used to do. And now gradually we're getting even deeper. Although today, I think we didn't. We did it quite well. So to be fair, going into the Leeds game, I felt that the front 3 did stay a bit higher.
Yeah.
And that did allow counter-attacks. Even when we weren't doing that well in the first 25 minutes, it meant that they did have to think, but what about Sonny? What about Bergwijn? What about Kane? They are still there or thereabouts. Whereas there's definitely been games that we've watched recently where I've just thought, there's no threat whatsoever because Sonny is so deep, because you're not even playing a Bergwijn, you're playing a Chelsea perhaps, wide right, and just taking away the counter-attack, which is our only weapon, really, that we're looking to use. So the game today, though, we'll go through the 3 goals just very quickly. So if I remember rightly, Stevie wins the pen, very close. Did you think, Pete, straight away penalty? Did you think outside? What was your thoughts?
My first thought was Winksy's pass was poor because he had space further in front of him to let him go. And I love Winks. I don't want to get on his case, but he played a couple of ones like he just not enough pace on it. Could have zipped it in a little bit more, and then Alioski would get nowhere near him then because it was played with such slow pace. Bergwijn had to, instead of just go, he had to check and get in front of him, which fair enough draws the foul, but he should be in on goal from the pass straight away. My initial reaction was it was not a pen, and I still think it looks a little. I just think if it was against us, I'd be asking, how can you justify that that's in the penalty area? You tell me where the contact definitely starts, and then you can tell me if it's a pen or not. And I just think it's too hard to call. And I think in those situations, the defender probably deserves the benefit of the doubt. But
with VAR, what we've been asking for is if it's not concrete and you can't say that is,
then you stick with the original decision. Yeah, I understand that. That's fine. But then, yeah, I think if it had been given against us, I'd be going.
It was a tough one, and to be fair, probably big. It's a huge moment in the game. Definitely, it swung the game. I thought they were having the better of it. I also was thinking that first half hour, if a Bielsa team had a lethal striker, say Kane's playing for Leeds today and Bamford's playing for us, they would bury some teams because the amount of chance. I saw the other day he's had the most shots in the Prem, and he's got some goals, but they create so much for him, it's ridiculous. And he should be burying goals, like goal after goal after goal. And I feel like if Kane played in a team like that, Christ, he'd have some fun. He would be having some fun. Yes, he'd be getting upset because the team behind him would be leaking 6 for every goal, every 5 he scored.
He'd score 8 there, yeah, exactly right.
But yeah, what a golden boots after golden boot is what he'd be getting. Yeah. No trophies, much like he'd still be having no trophy, but he'd be getting a lot of golden boots. The second goal.
Sorry, Jez. For the penalty, I think for me it was an example of VAR actually being used perfectly. Like the rest made a decision, whether it's right or wrong. For me, it should prove they're wrong, nothing else. That's all it's used for. It shouldn't be to prove anything else. The question is, have I made a mistake? And they can't prove you did make a mistake, so it carries on as it is. For me, it's perfect. And yeah, you could debate it if it's in or out. And I think, like you said, if it goes against you, you're annoyed. But if it went against us, at least I'll be reasonably pleased that it's actually VAR'd properly, rather than sort of really like minutely analysed and detailed when the angles didn't really show anything at all. It was just a 50-50 one as well, and luckily, obviously, it fell for us during a period where Leeds appeared to be on top.
No, I agree with you. I think that's the big point. It wasn't, what's to say, obvious and...
Yeah, clear and obvious.
Clear and obvious. It wasn't clear and obvious.
Yeah.
So they were even debating it in the studio, weren't they? Was it in or was it out? The ref thought it was, who was debating it. I can't remember his name. And then JJ seemed to think he wasn't sure if it was on the outside. Fair enough. You couldn't decide between you, so VAR shouldn't be going definitely
wrong or right. Yeah.
Wrong with the ref. And the ref said it was a pen. And I was surprised because I thought he was going to give a free kick and then wait to see what VAR said.
Yeah.
Lucky that he was like, no, I'm going for the pen. That's where the luck is in that element.
Yeah, exactly right.
And then Kane buried it, never in doubt, straight in the middle. I don't know why I was very nervous, but buried that one. And then the next two, what a cross. Just again, Kane, ridiculous delivery, Sonny, unreal finish. And we were saying, weren't we, boys, in terms of Bergwijn had a very good chance before that, and I couldn't believe why he didn't just caress it. He's absolutely spanked it over the bar. The difference between Sonny, who is just a lethal finisher, who just went, well, I'm just going to tap this and let all the power be and it's going to go into the bottom corner. Just class. And then the last goal was from Toby. Thought Dyer had nicked it, but
I thought he nicked it. I thought it's Dyer's goal, but he was a millimetre where it was over the line.
He's been crying out for someone else to start scoring, not just Son and Kane, and up steps Toby. He'll get the goals. He'll be the third top goal scorer in the side. And then the last thing that happened was, I suppose, Doherty getting sent off. But let's ask for your main points, boys, and then let's talk about Doherty a bit as well afterwards. But Ollie, what did you take from the game? First half, second half. What were your key points? Who were your main men? What did you take from it?
I actually have really enjoyed watching Harry Winks play the last couple of games. I thought he's been a real nice compliment to Højbjerg and a huge improvement on Sissoko in terms of using the ball. And I don't think it's a huge coincidence. They've actually been quite good in the games that he's played in terms of, I'm thinking, was it the Stoke game he played in? And then this game, Winksy scored 6 goals. And I think he's been a part of that as well. Like Pete said, he probably could have created more. I think there was one where he nicked it and he kicked it straight into Kane's heels. The Bergwijn one, there's another one he had as well. I thought he could have done better with. And he got some real good interceptions in there. And I was really impressed with Winksy. I think Eric Dyer is a massive liability at centre-back. He hasn't got the passing range that he thinks he has, I don't think, bless him. As much as I love him, I love that he puts his head in everywhere and he dives in, and that's great stuff. Like some of the decisions he makes in terms of passing, and he's trying to clip the Alderweireld ball. He just hasn't got it in his locker at all. It was a shame. Obviously, I'm gutted for Bergwijn. Like, I really like Stevie, and as I said in the group chat, and you guys took the piss out of me, I said he's so close to being world class if he could sharpen up in the final third. But to which Joe replied saying, "Yeah, it'd be great if he could shoot, pass, score, and assist all the time." And I was like, "Well, that is correct, obviously." But no, I think you look at the Liverpool game. He should score one of the 2 chances there. He should score today. You just wonder if it's going to get away from him. Do you know what I mean? He's almost at that period where mentally he needs to make sure he puts the next one away. Or he wins us a game just to get his confidence back, I think. Because I think he has Mourinho's confidence, but I think he doesn't believe in himself. And he's almost like he's fallen into Mourinho's good books, if that sort of makes sense. I'm not sure he believes he should be there. So I think he needs to step up as well. But I love him. And he's made so many good opportunities. He just can't score.
Agreed. Pete, what did you take from the game? Who are your sort of standouts? And then go into a bit of Doherty, because I'd like to hear what you think.
Weirdly, in the first 20 minutes when Leeds were dominating, and we were bypassing the midfield a lot. I actually said that Winksy doesn't serve a purpose in a Mourinho team like that, because they just kept clipping the ball past him, and that's not. He needs the ball at feet. As soon as we scored and started kind of controlling the game a bit more, I agree with yours. I thought it was very good. What baffles me is, don't get me wrong, I love watching Leeds. I think they're wicked to watch. But why are they getting such praise when they keep getting turned over? Like, there is a real naivety to it. Like the Man United game, when they got, what did they lose, 6-2?
Yeah.
And everyone was raving about how well they played. Yeah, but you shipped 6. You can't do that in this league. You keep doing that, you're going to go down. I don't think they'll go down. There's worse teams than them. But you can't be shipping 6 and 3 and shipping goals like they are. I mean, the way they attack is unbelievable. Like they have triangles. They play around in people's penalty areas for fun. They just move you around and they manipulate where you are as defenders. And actually, the fact that we stood up to that, like you say, if they had a proper finisher, like you say, Bamford's taken goals, but he's been given a lot of chances to take those goals. In terms of Spurs, who stood out for me? I don't know, just was solid. Højbjerg did what Højbjerg did. He had, obviously, Winksy next to him, as we said. Kane and Son and Bergwijn, I agree, stayed higher today, which helped us a lot. Because even things like half-cleared pumps into the channel, we could get ball from there. We could have Stevie and Sonny collect it and hold up and then work backwards. I worried about Davis and Rafinha. I thought Rafinha was going to tear him up, and he actually did all right.
We had a good game.
Yeah, I think it's quite bad for Rafinha as well.
Yeah, and on Doherty, I think he's a little bit unlucky because the first booking he slips as he swings, so it looks more out of control than it is. He gets nowhere near the guy or the ball. Second one's clumsy. I worry for him. I think he's gone. I think he may well only have a season. I think they may well ship him out in the summer at this rate. He's struggling to convert from a right wing back to a full back. Which is a shame for him because he very much seems like a likeable character, but he's not doing it. And that he has a chance today. Say again, mate.
That weird, a little bit at the end, we sort of stood near the edge of the sort of the tunnel, and Mourinho sort of held back and forth a little bit, weren't they? I think.
Yeah. I think he's unlucky with the sending off, but Mourinho's obviously struggling with right backs at the minute. He's sacked off Aurier because he gave away a penalty against Leicester, and now he's forced to sack off Doherty because he's been sent off. So, but even before that, he wasn't playing well. And I actually don't think I've seen him play well once for Spurs.
No, he hasn't. We were saying the other day, wasn't it, like the worry is his first touch always seems to be bad. Like it comes into him, and his first touch is always bad, and that then puts him to recovery mode, and then he has to make a quick decision, and he often loses ball. Like I actually thought he had a tidy like half hour in this game. When things started to look a bit better, he looked a bit more confident, his touch was a bit better, his passes, even a couple of things he tried that were a bit more difficult to play someone in. And I thought, yeah, it's a bit better. And then he finishes it by being clumsy and getting sent off, and you just go, oh, mate, you had an opportunity to try and take the right back slot, even though you haven't started well and your confidence seems quite low. Aurier's given you a blessing. He's been like, go on, go have it, because I've done something incredibly stupid. And then Doherty's gone, no, thank you. Take
I'll
it
do
back.
the same.
I don't want that. You mad? Right back's the worst. So yeah, it was a strange one, but overall, watching that game was quite enjoyable. And I think naivety, Pete, is a big point. Like I said at Bielsa as well. I think like a lot of managers are like it, but one way or the other. I think Mourinho's the same. He's naive to the idea that the only way to play football is a low block and to counter attack. When proven against like Wolves or Crystal Palace, sometimes it'd be better to play a bit more expansive and pass around the team, especially for Crystal Palace's sake, and just go at a team, because sometimes that's actually the most likely way to win. And then Bielsa is tenfold the other way of like everyone forward, we're 3-0 down and we're just going to keep picking you off. Everyone up, like last 5 minutes. He's a maniac. You see when he fell over? How amazing are his knees, by the way?
It's incredible, isn't it? How old is he? Do you know? He's got in his 60s, isn't he?
He's gone 60s, definitely.
Yeah, fair play. He's on his haunches the whole game. But yeah, I think you're right. It's crazy.
He's actually only 32. He's just so stressed out from the football.
He spent his life at 100 miles an hour. He's just aging. You know, it's incredible, like the plaudits they're getting for getting battered. Like, but you say that, but we are the complete opposite to their system, and it was almost gonna be a battle of systems. Like you've got the sort of Pep, Bielsa, Pochettino, hold the ball, just wear teams down, versus kind of the opposite, sort of Klopp-ish, Mourinho-ish, just counter and just relentless pressing, and we won. And it was in the first 5 minutes you knew that it was going to be goals, just because they played how they played, and we just like a cruel spring just waited, and we just ripped them apart when we could.
And that's exactly it. We're perfect for this Leeds team. We're perfect for a Fulham. Teams who aren't very good but still try and fly forward. But then Mourinho needs to go, well, now we're going to go and play against a Leicester who are very good at counter-attacking and defensive. Maybe we need to change our style. We're going to play against the Crystal Palace. Maybe we need to do something different. When we play West Brom with Big Sam, we're probably going to have to change our style, because he's going to get them into a solid sort of defensive unit. And that's what you've got to think about. And Bielsa needs to do the same, because he goes up against us and goes, they're great at counter-attacking and exploiting spaces. Everybody out of position. Do whatever you want. Naivety, Pete, was the word. It just seems ludicrous. But I think you go through like every manager and almost think, very rarely will they be happy to even try something different and to have a plan B. And I get the idea of like drilling something into it becomes like clockwork and it's easy. But a plan B is so necessary. And it could be really simple, a real slight change. Like for us, I think it should be from a low block to a medium block, and just change it ever so slightly. Leave the front three high like we did today instead of having them complete, so on. But yeah, we'll see how we go. We're positive because we're back up to third in the league. But
massive result.
Should we come? Has anyone got anything else you want to say about the Leeds game? We're happy to move on.
The only thing I was going to say, you're enjoying a game when he actually made you laugh out loud. Because there were two moments that when Bielsa fell over, and there was one, I think it was Luke Kane. He got picked up on the microphone, and you hear him boot the ball away and just scream, "Fuck off!" Like, just pure anger. It just made me properly laugh out loud. It's so funny.
I like Luke Kane. I
like him as well.
He's a bit crazy. It just made me absolutely howl laughing. I sit in my chair, just like this, literally like a proper reaction that like any of us would do. Just a proper frustration, just scream. They didn't make me chuckle.
He's better as a right back. I think we were benefited
definitely.
that he was having to play centre half today. That was cool. But shall we move on to the world of foosball?
Certainly can.
Yes.
Okay, so let's get into the world of football, chaps. Well, don't shake your head at me, Pierre. There's a world.
You always look down just as Ollie clicks to record, and then you like take a few seconds, and then you're in, and it's just behind.
Well, we're keeping it in the show. I need to know what I'm about, and I'm about looking down and then looking up like this. You know? So, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the world of football. Let's keep to the Leeds theme first. The Kearney tweet. So, I say the Kearney tweet. It wasn't her tweet, but obviously the tweet about her. She made the comment, and if I remember, basically she's saying that Leeds got promoted because of COVID. Now, I think she tries to make a solid point in saying, like, Bielsa teams flag. They do flag, like, second half of the season. You watch how intense their game is. You understand the players tire in the second half of the season. Often that's the case. I think the problem was she said it quite definitively and said if it wasn't for COVID, they wouldn't have got promoted, essentially. And then Leeds reacted. They put out a tweet. And I'd like to get you two's opinion of this before I sort of chime with mine. They put out a tweet, they put a video of what she says, and the fans, obviously, Twitter does what Twitter does, which is an absolute cesspit of people who attack for no reason. So, Ollie, what did you make of it? Have you seen much of this? And do you have an opinion on it?
Yeah, I think Leeds have done this to many different pundits in the past. There've been about 4 or 5 tweets they've put out to all different people. Not one has ever been picked up. All with a very similar theme, i.e., you're wrong, we've won, or whatever it is. Unfortunately, because she's a female and she was then attacked off the back of it, it looks really bad for Leeds. However, I don't think it's entirely their fault. I think if they had just been the first one they'd done, very different story. The fact that they've picked off a Bong Lahore and a couple of other pundits who have said things about them that were completely wrong, and they should be okay, in my opinion. But like you said, Twitter's a cesspit of people who are horrible. We've got terrible views on females, football, all that sort of stuff. Like, it's just not nice and not good. And it's a shame that she's had to deactivate her Twitter and all that sort of stuff. That just doesn't fit in with the sort of all-encompassing world that football thinks it sits in. But I think, unfortunately, it doesn't sit in there because it's in the real world, and that's not the real world. But I think it's Twitter and it's the world at its unfortunate worst.
And Pete, obviously, I'll say my views on it after yourself, I think. So what are your thoughts and what did you make of it?
I think it's just it's interesting. I think she shot herself in the foot a little bit by, like you say, by making it such a definitive statement. Like, if you're going to say something like that, say Leeds probably did benefit from, or something like that, be a little bit more open with it. But I think anyone that understands football understands what she was trying to say. So the people that jumped on it and attacked her, I would say most of them would have been off of the back of that because she's a female, and that's why they've gone for her. Yeah. If it was a bloke, they probably would have still said some stuff, but I doubt it would have been half as vile as what she got. And people don't like new, do they? They don't like anything new, and there are good female pundits coming through. Yeah. And they absolutely deserve to be talking in the men's game because they understand the world of football, and they understand the world of football a lot better than people who've never played the game. Like, she's played at the highest level for England. You know, I think she's got a ridiculous amount of caps for England, actually, Karen Carney. But I think you'll probably go into it a bit more, but I also think Leeds could be they should know that things are going to happen off the back of that. Yeah. They should be aware of what Twitter is. And I mean, you only have to see, going off topic a little bit, but black players showing people that, because Twitter, you can be whoever you want to be on Twitter. You just stick a random picture up, random name, you can do what you want, you can abuse who you want. And you see like black players putting stuff up that they get abused with on Twitter because it's so easy to do. So I think there's a bit of responsibility for them both. I think she's been really hard done by, because I understand completely what she wanted to say. She's just not worded it very well. But yeah, no one deserves to get the abuse she got, and I think it will come off of the back. I do believe it's come off the back because she's a woman. That's why they've gone for her. They've properly gone for the throat, and I think it's ridiculous.
Yeah, so I agree with a lot of the things you guys said, but the way I put it together is, as you say, Twitter is a horrible place. It's not a horrible place. It's a platform. It's a thing. So it's not Twitter's fault, but the people who take advantage of the fact that it's not censored, etc., it should be. That's a whole separate issue. But no matter what, Leeds fans on Twitter, or even just random scum who want to attack someone for the fun of it, would have come at Kenny no matter what. Would they seen the video? They would have come. She'd have got attacked regardless. Leeds are a huge platform. They're a massive business. They're a massive club. The expression "punch up, don't punch down" comes to mind for me. You've got no reason to put that out. No need. Football clubs are attacked by pundits all the time, countless times. You don't want to see the Spurs Twitter account coming out and saying, "What's Lineker saying this for?" or whatever. Like any sort of pundit. There's no point. It's to me, it just looks embarrassing that you felt the need to come out and attack that person. And yeah, they didn't at them. They didn't tag her in anyway, but they put a video of her. They made her a target. They put that target on her back. They know what Twitter is like. They know that she's going to be abused for that. And I just think it's classless. I'm glad we battered them today, because I thought that was so distasteful. I know it's not the whole club. It's obviously the social media team, but someone sanctions that. And it happens. And they haven't.
Sorry to interrupt you. I saw a thing. I might have misread this. I think I was just skimming through Twitter or something. Terrible program. It was something to do with the owner said that he wanted it to go out. Yeah,
he said he was happy with it, and it's not getting taken down. They kept it up. And like people like Ferdinand have come out and said, and like you saying, Pete, of like black players being abused, etc. I was speaking to an old boy the other day who was like, yeah, I don't know why they're still doing the Black Lives Matter thing. I don't know why they're still bending the knee. I don't like a lot of the pundits anyway. I think Alex Scott is a racist. Why? I said to him, why do you think she's a racist? I said, on what grounds? He was like, oh, you can just tell she's not the white players. What are you talking about? It was absolutely ludicrous. It made no sense. What possible evidence? I was like, give me a quote. Give me the slightest bit of evidence that would tell you that Alex Scott is a racist. Just and these baseless claims and like attacks are just so easy. Like you say, but people don't like new. Yes, it's an equal rights world. The world should be all equal, but women are just finding their feet in the football world. They're just about coming in, and Leeds should understand that. They should know that's the case. So for me, it was just a massive like slapping her down, almost like know your place sort of thing. So I don't think it was sexist. Like Ollie said, I think they've done it to a bunch of pundits. But regardless, I think they shouldn't need to defend themselves. It's a bit embarrassing that they felt the need. It's like if sorry, Ollie, just like one last thing. It's like if a like League Two striker said that Kane wasn't very good at finishing. Would Kane come out and be like, I don't know what he's talking about, and like and react to that? No. It like if Stormzy had someone attacking him like a grime artist from like Covidiots Village here, where I'm at, like is he going to be like, I'm going to do a track and respond to that, and I'm going to absolutely ruin him? Yeah. No reason. You're huge. You don't need to. I just feel it's almost like a form of bullying, and I just don't like that sort of thing. I just think it's classless.
It's like you say, you're right. Just to clarify, like just because they've done it before, that doesn't mean that it's a right thing to do. Like it's a petty, odd thing for a football club to do on the basis of it. It was just the fact, like I said, I think almost like the sort of the way they play is naive. It was a very naive thing to do. I think they didn't think about their platform and the fact they'd done it before. They hadn't thought about how it would impact the larger world of football, being that it's a female pundit who's finding her feet in the footballing world. I think, like I said, I think it was just naive and stupid, and they probably will get some form of punishment for it, or they might not. I don't know. I'm not sure how you even could look to do something like that, but
yeah, I don't think they can, because all the abuse obviously comes.
Of course, not from Leeds directly. Yeah.
It's very hard to punish them for it. And that's typical. That's the argument of like, should Leeds be punished for the abuse being given from external areas? But the fact is, they put the target on their back, and they knew that would happen. And if they didn't know that happen, that naivety is massively the word.
Rife amongst the club.
Exactly, it's everywhere. Maybe Bielsa was saying, more tweets. Yeah. Telling all the players, get on your phones now, attack.
Yeah.
All out attack, that's Bielsa's formula, so maybe
all out attack, yeah.
No, we'll be Mourinho's going to be getting some nasty tweets coming his way. You just wait for it.
But they'll never get to Mourinho because he'll be set up in a low block, so they'll never quite get there.
Dyer diving in front of him, taking no
passing the phone away every opportunity. No, Dyer, over there.
You ain't having them, Jose. Don't look at them. We've got some real loyal chaps in our club. The other one we want to talk about in the world of football, which is the Premier League, as we all know, because we won't really go it next. I think next recording, boys, we'll go into the January transfer window a bit, but I think we'll leave it alone today. But the COVID circuit break and like Big Sam coming out and saying that he'd like 2 weeks off. I think this one's different as well in terms of, I don't know about you boys, but everyone seems to know someone who's got COVID this time. Everyone, like no matter where you are, only a couple of people away from you, there seems to be someone who's had a positive test. It's right. It's getting a bit out of hand, to be honest. But like Pete said, maybe selfish reasons, I don't want the Prem gone, because what the hell else am I going to do right now? So what do we think of the circuit break? Pete, what do you think? Do you think head and heart situation, or what do you reckon?
It's a tricky one. I'd like to know exactly like the rules on it are. So like, first of all, I want to know how many players or people at a club have to get it before a game gets cancelled. I'd like to know exactly what their regime is for it, in terms of being tested, how safe they're being, because evidently anything where the money is gets to carry on going. So there's money in football, there's money in television. So like soap operas and stuff are back on, and they get tested every week before they film and stuff. Football's obviously going on, elite sports going on, that's where the money is. Whereas there's still, like, I still haven't been tested once. As a teacher, I've not been tested once. Mental. But you can let people go and be on bloody EastEnders, and you'll test them every like 2 days or whatever before they go and do some acting. Like, I don't know. I think I'm very much like you. If they take it away, I'll be gutted, but I'll understand it. And actually, it will make, I don't know, will it make it a bit more okay that they took away Christmas? I don't know. It feels like they're just getting a different treatment because they're at a different level to us. And it's great for us because obviously it's all getting put on the telly and we get to watch it all and stuff. But I think if they did it, I'd understand, but if they don't do it, I'll be happy. So it's and then you've got the issue of like Sam Allardyce saying he's worried about his own health because he's a bit older, but then he'd also benefit. Would a circuit break mean no training? Is that what it would mean?
I think so, yeah.
So then I was thinking maybe, is he saying that because he just wants a bit more time with his players? But if he's not getting to train with them, then he's not really benefiting from it at all, is he? So I don't know. I don't really know. I am going to turn the light on though because it's gone really dark in here.
Yeah, it might quite dark, so I feel quite dark.
No, you're lovely, mate. You've got lovely dark.
You've got olive skin.
Olive skin, fair enough. I agree with Pete. I think it's really hard to sort of. There is no right answer. The problem the league have got is they've set out the protocols, but their members, they're not staff, are they? They're members of the league. Clearly aren't listening to them. So what can they do? If the clubs as well have got an obligation to look after their players and their staff and stuff like that. So it's difficult. But like you say, we saw with the Regulon thing, there's 3 players mixing with West. That's 4 players, possibly 5 families there. I don't know, 4 or 5 families there, 4 or 5 households are all in that picture. And, but that was Christmas Day. So were they confused by the change because they changed the rules? You know what I mean? It's very difficult. And, you can understand some confusion, but at the same time, you can't because it's pretty obvious. So I think it's difficult. I think, they're tested twice a week, but you could pick COVID up the second after you give your swab and be negative because you've got it afterward. So it's, there's always problems with testing anyway, just naturally. Should they have to stop? I don't think so. They're elite sport athletes now. They want to play, they want to be part of it and do stuff. What the Premier League have done, which I find really weird, they sort of set out this, you have to have a minimum of 14 players fit to play a game. And that's clearly not been followed at all because Man City had 2 players with it. Fulham had 2 players with it. So are the clubs saying, we've got half the academy can't play? Do you see what I mean? Like, are the laws being manipulated to benefit the fact that, if we had 2 players, Kane and Son, got COVID, we wouldn't want to play. So we would just say, he's got it, she's got it. You know what I mean? Like, we just get the game called off, wouldn't we? So it's dirty politics.
Well, that's why Everton
yeah,
went and spoke to the Premier League about their one getting called off with City, didn't they?
Yeah.
Which I thought was such a weird thing to do. Like, even if you thought they were pulling the wool over people's eyes, this is an illness that's killed a lot of people. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, elite, like Spurs, I thought was decent. We said like games been cancelled and we hope everyone at Fulham's safe and well, sort of thing. That's different to me.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Like, whether you think that's the case or not, be smart about it. Don't say stuff like that.
Yeah. It's difficult.
Mourinho moaned about the Prem, didn't he? Not about.
Yeah, he moaned about the fact that they'd left it that late to tell us, which was poor, to be fair. You can't call a Premier League game of 4 hours before. Like, why have you taken that long to make that decision?
Because I don't know if you see the screenshot of the schedule for the day. The team left the ground at 2:00, and they didn't know if they were to leave or not.
Yeah.
Imagine they waited another hour and then they had to leave, and everything's well out of whack, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? So it's not good. Not good.
It was ridiculous, and like Mourinho said, to be fair, and I often get irritated by his moaning, but I didn't mind this one too much. We were saying like you would coach like kids teams, and you turn up, and the other team wouldn't have turned up, and you don't get to play. And it felt like that, which is very true. It did feel that way inclined completely. With the circuit break, I think it's very possible that it could be necessary. It's ludicrous to see games in the Prem being postponed. When you see games in the Premier League being postponed, that's different. You just think that doesn't happen. That's not a normal thing. So when it is coming to that point, I also kind of get that they disregard the 14 players thing, because if a couple of players have got it, and like you said, Ollie, you might have been tested negative, but you haven't displayed anything yet, so you might actually have it, but it only happens on game day or whatever, or a couple hours there, and then you spread it and it becomes a huge problem. So I don't think we don't know the ins and outs of how isolated each issue is, and how worried they are. That person's actually been hanging out with XYZ in very close proximities. We're worried that that's going to be spreaded like wildfire, and then the Premier League is bang in trouble. So I kind of get some of the postponements, but I just hope it carries on, because literally just selfish intentions. And also, selfish intention also because Peter's a teacher. Peter has to go to work, or will be going back to work constantly. Other people in other jobs are in supermarkets there all the time. Footballers are young, fit men who are getting paid a lot of money. I know it doesn't necessarily come into it, but why shouldn't they be able to? They can't work from home, basically, so why shouldn't they be working? That's the idea at the moment, isn't it? If you can't work from home, go to work. So that is going to work, isn't it, really? So even if Uncle Roy, who's 145 years old, says that he wants to carry on with the Prem, despite the fact that he could drop at any moment, then I'm all for it and I'm with him, because he's got to be up there for getting a vaccine soon enough, surely.
It should be in there. I mean, if he can avoid Kyle Walker, I think he'll be fine. Because clearly Kyle Walker is some sort of super COVID spreader or something. Because
he's getting a lot of flack.
He's getting a lot of flack. He's having sex parties and all sorts of stuff, and he's just
I don't imagine him inviting Roy Hodgson to one of his sex parties, to be honest.
Well, come on, Roy.
Come on, Roy. You know, have some fun in your later years, boy.
It's never the same without you, Roy. And then Roy's like, who are you talking about?
It did make me quite sad to read Mourinho's quotes today talking about Reguilon. Obviously, he was pictured at the Christmas Day party, wasn't it? And he's also spoken about that Mourinho had bought him a Christmas present, a suckling pig. I've got absolutely no idea what one of those are, or if they're nice or what they are. I've got no idea what they are. But it made me sad that Mourinho basically said that, I thought it was on his own, so I brought him a really nice present. Turns out he wasn't on his own, and I've been done, basically. Which I thought made me feel a bit sad for Mourinho there. And I think Reguilon might regret that decision a little bit. On a personal level, not in the terms of footballing being picked. On a personal level, I think he'll feel like he's offended him a little bit. Well,
that's why he got dropped today, I think, unfortunately.
It's possible.
The Mela wasn't in the squad. Right, chaps. My chapettes, my friends, my pals. Let's do a quick prediction. And that's a good question. Arsenal game. Can you remember what they predicted and if anyone got it right? I think I actually might have won 2-0, you know.
I think you did, Jez.
Did we all go win? Did we all?
Predictions, here we go. Jez 2-0. Correct. Arsenal, all but goal disallowed, didn't happen.
Okay, yeah.
I went 3-0, very optimistic that we were going to attack. Bale to score from outside the box, wrong. Peter, pessimistic as always, 2-1. Thought we'd concede and said Stevie Bergwijn winner.
Oh,
I've just seen my predictions here. I actually, it's quite embarrassing, very funny. Obviously, the game we then played after that was the Palace game and then the Liverpool game. And I actually had a dream the night before the Liverpool game that we won 5-1. And Kane scored an absolute screamer. Wrong.
Premonition, a vision.
Wrong.
Yeah, remind us not to go to you for like lottery numbers or anything like that.
Yeah. But
I had a dream. But let's do predictions for the Villa game. So I'm happy with that. I'll have some points for that Arsenal game.
Yeah.
Aston Villa, you say we're away, Ollie? Is that correct?
We are indeed.
Interesting game. They're a very tidy unit. I really like their midfield, Villa. I like watching them play. Mourinho they're his favourite team to watch.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Yeah, he did.
I think that's fair. It's lovely to watch Grealish. He's so smooth, such an intelligent player. Like, just easy. One of those players which is so easy. Everything looks like it's just no stress whatsoever. I don't even think you barely see him sprint because it's actually quite quick. But does he need to sprint? No.
Incredible.
Oh, and the most amazing, he lives at the top of the hill, doesn't he? For sure.
Don't get me started, because then if we talk about his calves, then I'm going to have to talk about his socks that are stupidly cut really low, and that drives you up the wall.
His calf is so big.
He's actually been trying to pull them up for years. Just can't get them over.
Sock.
But let's do our usual, the prediction, and then something niche. I don't want to go first. Well, let's have you go first for this game.
I'll also with Villa as well. They're such a weird team this year because, like you say, they're really fun to watch. And you've got no idea who's going to turn up. I don't even know if they turn up. They're really good. like I said, their midfield three is just so much fun to watch, and they've done fair play to them, considering it was their first season in the league last year. They just stayed up, and they've just recruited so well, and they're absolutely flying. But we're away. We normally play quite well against Villa though, so I'm going to go away. We've got that semi-final, haven't we? And then that one. 2-0 to Spurs.
2-0 to Spurs. Tidy. And the niche moment?
It shouldn't be niche, but it is. But a Bergwijn goal.
We so want it. We so want to see it.
I so want to see it.
In everything else he does, but just cannot get that final third going. But nice. I like it, Ollie. Pete, what are you going for?
I'm going to be... Am I going to be pessimistic?
Just say with your heart, Pete. And if that's pessimistic, which is what we expect, just say.
Don't ever change, Peter.
Fine. 1-1. And my niche... What's my niche moment going to be? I was going to say, surely it's not niche at all. Spurs will go 1-0 up, and then we'll concede later on from a set piece. Okay. But no, my niche thing is going to be Tanguy is going to play 90 minutes.
Oh,
that's unlikely, Peter.
Unlikely, mate. All right, I like it. I'm going to go. It's interesting because Leeds, for example, I thought we're all wrong for Leeds. Like they throw everyone forward. I think in a similar way, but nowhere near to the extreme that Leeds is. We're wrong for Villa as well. I think we are wrong for them. I think they've got a good, tidy midfield, but they've got a pretty poor backline, in my opinion. Matty Cash, I think, has been one of the best right backs in the league. But he's absolutely dealt with by United the other day and bullied a touch. And I just think Sonny's going to tear him a new one. I think defensively he struggles, but he's very good at getting forward. So yeah, I think in their way they play and the way they get forward, they leave gaps. I think we're wrong for them, especially away from home when they're not pressure because the fans aren't there, but you're more expected to get forward, aren't you? So I think we'll nick the game 2-1. I think it will be tight. Won't be like Leeds today. And we'll also have to get in contact with our friends, boys, at That Bit of Podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Them, see what they think. Maybe we can do a... well, I'm doing this if they'll agree to it. we don't know. But maybe we could do something after the game. We'll have to give them a little message. But yeah, I'll go 2-1. And I think the niche thing I'll go for is... I'm going to say for Grealish to miss an absolute sitter.
Ooh.
Is what I'm going to go. Grealish miss an absolute sitter. Because I'll tell you why. He loves Kane. Grealish loves Kane. And I think he'd love to play for Spurs. So I think that's why.
Cocaine, am I right?
Yeah, no. Yeah, he probably would. Yeah, he probably would.
He definitely does. That's definitely his wheelhouse.
You heard it here first. Oliato says that Grealish 100% does coke. And get that on all media platforms. Twitter, attack.
It's like Leeds. I'm being bullied by Leeds.
But those are the predictions, and those are the niche things we're going for.
Do you want to talk about the semi-final? I just completely forgot we're in a semi-final on Wednesday.
Yeah, go on. We'll predict that as well. We'll predict that one as well. And then,
is it one-legged? They're not doing two legs this year?
Yeah, it's at home.
Just one leg, and we're at home as well. We got the best draw. Although I actually think I'd have rather played Newcastle than Brentford, strangely enough.
They're really good, Brentford, but they are a really good team.
Brentford, good side. Good side.
Pete, let's go you first for this one. Semi-final, chance to get into a final for the first time since the Champions League final. What? Oh God! What do you reckon? What are you feeling?
Are we just doing a score? Yeah, I'm going to go 2-1 Spurs.
2-1 Spurs. Tidy. Ollie, what do you think?
I think we'll blow them away. I'm going 3-0.
3-0, very nice. I would be happy with that. I'm really nervous for it, but I'm going to say 2-0. But I think you just don't know what the hell's going to happen. They're going to be so up for it.
Yeah, I think they were so lucky to not get promoted last season. They were absolutely done in the final by Fulham, I think it was.
Fulham, it was, yeah.
And they were the best team in the league, bar Leeds last season. It was a joke. They got picked by West Brom at the end, and then they dropped into the playoffs and then lost the final. So they're a good team, but they lost Watkins. They lost Ben Rama. Ben Rama is a very good player.
He has done. Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he's gone to West Ham. So I think because of that, I think we'll win. But I think they'll make a good fight of it. I think the first half will be really cagey and quite tight.
Absolutely.
And we love Carling Cup. Well, so not Carling Cup. That's when we did win it. League Cup semi-finals.
That's how dusty our trophy cabinet is. We're going for the Carling Cup.
Carling Cup. A repeat.
That in Division 1. That's what we're after. And we're going for the UEFA Cup, Division 1, and the Carling Cup this season. That's what we want. Right, boys. So last question for you both. I'm going to ask Peter first. Peter, are you or are you not entertained, specifically by today's performance?
Specifically by today's performance, then yes, I was entertained. I'm more entertained by seeing your lovely faces again, though.
Oh, that is bloody lovely. And Ollie, were you entertained?
Again, from today's performance, because we played Leeds, I was very entertained.
Yeah.
How bloody fun were they?
Yeah, I know, so much fun to watch. And we won 3-0. 3 fairly good goals. Well, 2 very good goals and a penalty.
You take, again, like we say, you take playing any style, you score goals and you win. It's entertaining enough for me. So I completely agree. And chaps, thanks for your time. It's been a pleasure. Have a great time. If I don't see you, I love you. And also, everyone else out there, we love you too. Subscribe to us, like us, share us. Please don't tweet us abuse. And that is the big thing about today's pod. Be nice, be kind, be lovely to the people out there, especially Kenny. Take that, Leeds.
Take that, Leeds.
Bye, team.
Good night.